Hello and welcome to the Valley Preview. I'm your host, Alastair Dwyer. Last week we kicked off the City Jeep Friday night racing season, and we're looking forward to taking it up a notch on Friday night for the City Jeep Group 1 Moir Stakes. We've assembled a crack field of sprinters, including last year's winner in buffering, as well as gun 3-year-old sprinter Penetrometer. We've got a fantastic undercard also on the night, including the Group 2 Strathayr Track Stock Stakes and the Group 2 Jeep Stud Stakes. We're predicting a balmy night of 28 degrees. It's a public holiday in Victoria and we can't wait for a bumper crowd out at the Valley. Let's catch up with the Valley's track manager Marty Simon to find out more. Marty, we've had a beautiful week of weather in Melbourne. How's the track going to play for Friday night?
Yeah, I expect it to play very similar to last week. Most likely to be an upgrade to a good 3 by race time. The weather forecast is for 25 degrees and northerly winds, so I'll probably put a bit of irrigation on the Thursday night prior to the meeting, knowing that we don't race until the Friday night, and that should just get us through. But I expect it to be probably a good 4 in the morning and then upgrade to a good 3 mid-afternoon, similar to last week.
And Heat 2 of the Jeep 55-second challenge is on. Tuscan Sling last Friday night scorched the track. Do you think they'll get close to that time again?
Yeah, I will, and it's amazing. It's a 20-year anniversary of the Strathayr track going in, and this track's probably racing better than it ever has. So it's a credit to the club putting this track in, taking the risk to put this track in 20 years ago, and the results are still here today. It's in great order. Yeah, and I do expect another quick race. We've got Sweet Emily in that race, and he generally leads the field up. So if a bit of horse that leads like that and the northerly winds, I expect to get very close again this week.
And your tip last week was Scratch at the Barriers. Who do you like this Friday night?
Yeah, I class that as a win when they scratch at the barriers, so the punters don't lose. But this week we're going to tip race 1, number 8, Ability. Worked here on Monday morning, ran a really quick time. So I expect that to be my tip for this week and get punters off to a great start to a good night's racing.
We're now joined by the Valley's racing analyst Ben Sporle to discuss all things racing.
Yeah, thanks Alastair. We had 13 horses gallop here on Monday morning, of which a large contingent came from the Robert Smerdon stable. We caught up with him and asked him how Ungrateful Ellen came through a run a fortnight ago at Caulfield.
She was very unlucky at Caulfield. I think her coach still coming through and she had a good blow this morning. It'll be a real class test for her. She's a good staying mare. She ran second to Winks in the Queensland Oaks, but she's a good staying mare who I think she can be competitive here, but it'll be a stepping stone to longer races later in the prep.
Okay, never raced at Moonee Valley before, Robert. How'd she work this morning around the course?
She was fine, and she's that sort of horse. I don't anticipate any problems.
And Genuine Lad, Robert, how has he progressed since his third place in the Naturalism Stakes?
Taken good benefit out of it, and he was good this morning. Maybe a little bit casual on his own, but he, on race night with the blinkers on or the visor as he wears, I don't think that'll be a factor because he generally gets going forward. But he was really good. His work was solid, and it was good for him to have a look at the circuit.
And how are the stable's confidence levels heading into the JRA Cup on Friday night?
I think he's a really live chance. I think he's the right sort of horse, a terrific run in the Naturalism, and to my mind, he could only improve off that. So the tough 2000 here should suit him ideally.
Also on Friday night, we have our first Group 1 race of the season, the Moir Stakes, where Buffering's going for his third win in the event, but it won't come easy. Unbeaten filly Penetrometer and the Robert Smerdon trained Fontaton headline the main dangers, but the race doesn't end there. Looking ahead to the Group 2 Stock Stakes, and it's a quality field, just the 7 runners, but 3 Group 1 winners, which include Amanpour, Fenway and May's Dream. And lastly, the Stud Stakes, the Group 2 event. It's got an emerging group of 3-year-olds to round out the field. 5 last start winners, including 2 from New Zealand, which add plenty of intrigue.
And Ben, your best bet for the card on Friday night?
Race 6, number 5 for me, Alastair, on Friday night, the United States. I've been really impressed with his spring campaign. Of course, he won here first up at Moonee Valley. He's been really unlucky in his 2 subsequent starts, and I think he can make an amends and go deep into the Spring Carnival with a win in the JRA Cup on Friday night.
Won't give in, comes back on the inside, and now Abaso joins in, and the United States flying home, 5 across the track. It's going to be a close one here, and the United States out very wide.
With the AFL Grand Final on the next day, we're joined by 2 special guests at the Valley on Friday night in North Melbourne midfielder Nick Dal Santo and champion Richmond defender Alex Rance. We're also offering free general admission to any Hawthorn or West Coast supporters wearing their team gear on the night. We'll also make sure we've got the 1991 Grand Final replay between the Hawks and the Eagles on the big screen for your viewing pleasure. For more information on that, check out thevalley.com.au or follow us on Twitter at our new handle @thevalley. I'll see you at the Valley on Friday night.